Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, we're talking about how to shoot an awesome cinematic sequence. Alright, so as you can see, I am not in Los Angeles, I'm not in my studio at home, I'm actually in New York City in a tiny apartment. This is actually a pretty big apartment for the area. We actually have like some space over here, some over there, but essentially this is it. Rachel's getting ready back there, so I definitely don't have any alone time while I'm here. But
I don't have any alone time.
basically, we're here filming for 10 days. I haven't been able to shoot much content because we are working on some other stuff. But I wanted to put together this video on how to shoot an awesome cinematic sequence. I know a lot of you are interested in this because I've got a lot of questions about how I put my cinematic sequences together. So this is my method. These are the things that I do in my vlogs, in my documentaries, in the videos that I create with Rachel for our production company. Anything that looks cinematic, this is the technique that I go. And it's not a super complex method. It's just a few things that I do and I do consistently. All right, so let's just get right into it. Okay, the key with shooting any sort of cinematic sequence is you gotta treat it like you're shooting a movie. You're not shooting a vlog, you're not shooting just YouTube content, you're not just shooting a whatever video, you're shooting a movie. When you start putting that kind of idea in your head, you really focus on creating awesome footage. So the key is when you're shooting a cinematic sequence is you want to tell a story. You gotta figure out how this sequence is gonna move your story forward, or how is it gonna enhance what it is that you're shooting. So a sequence is generally 5 shots or more. It could be as little as 3, but ideally you wanna shoot a decent amount of footage to be able to tell a story. But beyond that, there are some definite things that I do when I'm always shooting cinematic sequences. All right, the first is variation in shots. So I don't always shoot the same type of footage when I'm shooting these. I like to shoot a whole range of footage. Wide establishing shots are key. You got to get away from the action, away from what it is that you're shooting. This is where I use drone shots or a big, broad, sweeping shot. You want to see the space. You want to see what it is that you're doing. And then just like you'd shoot a film, you move in. So you shoot mediums and you shoot close-ups. The idea is that you're getting coverage, you're showing an entire scene of all the different angles, so when you cut it together, it has that filmic quality. Another key thing when you're shooting a cinematic sequence is movement. And even if you're just hand-holding the camera, you want to put movement in it. If your shots are static, it's not going to feel as cinematic. So small shifts left to right, forward, back, especially when you're using like a super shallow depth of field, when you rack the focus over an object, it creates a really cool effect. Another thing I really like to do is do shot reverse shots. This is a filmmaking technique where if you have a dialogue scene, you're shooting one person and then you're shooting the other, and that's a shot reverse shot. But finding moments where you can shoot shot reverse shot in a sequence, give it more of a cinematic quality because it looks like all the pieces work together. Okay, slow motion is obviously a huge thing that I do. I always shoot in 120 frames per second if possible, or 60 frames if I don't have 120 available. And then the other thing with speed is I also shoot time lapses and hyperlapses. Slow motion gives you that very buttery, dreamy quality, whereas hyperlapses and time lapses show the passage of time. So they're awesome to use in these sequences. As for gear, I don't always use the same gear that I'm typically vlogging with or shooting my other content with. I like to use primes because, especially on a Micro Four Thirds camera, you want to get that super shallow depth of field. So I'm always using primes with ND filters so that I can get my aperture wide open at a 1.2 or a 1.4. And then on top of that, I'm using drones, action cameras, and recently I've been using a lot of 360 cameras just to get extra coverage and get those unique shots that you can't get with your typical camera. Drones are obviously super handy for getting those wide establishing shots, and they can really show a scene or an area. If you want to see my full filmmaking kit, I'll put a link in the description to my entire gear list so you can see everything that I'm using for ideas on gear to add to your kit. Okay, and the last piece of the puzzle is editing. Now there's a ton that I could talk about in editing, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview. If you guys have any specific questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll do some more specific videos. So with editing, you obviously want to find music that really adds to the cinematic quality of what it is that you're shooting. And a key thing with audio, I do a lot of voiceover, but I also add a lot of sound effects. And sound effects are great because they add atmosphere to the scene. I get all my music and all my sound effects from epidemicsound.com. If you go down in the description, I'll put a link to that as well. I've found it's the best place to get music for any of my YouTube content that I'm creating. Alright guys, I hope those tips will help you create some awesome cinematic sequences. I am gonna just cut it off here because I am dripping sweat, need to turn the AC back on. It is ridiculously hot here in New York. 2 days ago it was like freezing, now it's like super hot, there's crime going on outside, I don't know, there's so much going on. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton of awesome filmmaking tutorials and lots of just cool content on this channel that I'm sure you're gonna want to check out. It looks like Rachel wants to go, so this is it. Oh look, she brought me some rosé. Great. Guys, that is it. It's time to go explore New York. I'll see you on the next one.